What's going on, everybody? What's going on? My name is Lindsay, and this is the Gentle Blitz, where we combine sports and ASMR, mainly football, and ASMR and put it together and we talk about it. If that's something you guys like, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment down below. Let's have the comment be, what were your thoughts about the first week of the NCAA? I have a lot of thoughts and we're going to unpack those today. I'm going to kind of combine the videos today, and then we can maybe discuss. Maybe I break them up into different videos, but I think it might just be easier for me to address last week and give my predictions. We'll see. You're watching it, so we'll see how that ended up being. So I'm gonna go over the new AP 25. I have it right here. And we're gonna talk about it. I have thoughts. I have lots of thoughts. There are some games that I wasn't able to watch. I was in a car accident on Saturday, so I missed all the games that were after the third quarter of the Alabama game. I'm okay. My car's okay. My car's not okay. If I remember, I'll put a picture of my car right here. We'll see if I remember to do it. But, everybody involved was okay. So, it was, an accident. And as long as everybody's okay, everything else can be fixed. So, I didn't get to watch some of the night games, which is sad because the Clemson LSU game seemed like it was fun. So I won't really comment too much on that, but I will comment on the games that I was able to watch. So the AP Top 25 came out yesterday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. And I'm gonna go over it. We're gonna start with the top, with Ohio State, and rightfully so. They deserve the number one. They beat the number one. They deserve to be number one. I don't have a problem with that. Along with Penn State, I don't have a problem with that. They weren't idle, but they just stayed at number two. LSU jumped to number three, which is great. I'm not a big LSU fan, but I mean, they beat Clemson, so you can't take that away from them. Georgia moved up a spot to number 4. I mean, I guess it's just because everybody below them lost. Not really lost, but I mean, I guess they just moved up by coincidence. I mean, they did blow out the team they played, but they just moved up a spot. Miami moved up 5 spots, which I did watch that game, and I thought Miami looked really good. I thought Notre Dame wasn't as good, but, it's the first game of the season, so ups and downs. I think Miami is decently placed. Oregon moved up a spot. Again, I think that's just default from all the things that happened around them. Now Texas dropped 6 spots to number 7. I actually didn't think they would drop to number 7, but I guess when all the other top teams around you win, you gotta fall somewhere. Let's talk about that for a second. Ohio State, Texas, that game was a mess, not a mess. Like, I think we all had this hype that it was gonna be this, like, dueling match of Arch and Julian Sayin, and Arch was gonna be, like, this generational talent, and he was gonna show it that night, and it just kind of fell flat. So I think there was a little bit of disappointment. I'm not saying Arch isn't great. I believe that Texas will win the SEC. At least go to the SEC championship. I'm gonna backtrack on that. At least go to the SEC championship. So I think Arch just has to get his University of South Carolina jumped 3 spots. I think going forward, South Carolina is going to be a team to watch. They're actually really good, and they're fun. What is his last name? Sellers. Their quarterback seems like he's a lot of fun to watch. I can't wait to watch a little bit more of those games. Illinois jumped 1 spot to 11 as Arizona State fell to 12. Florida jumped 2 spots to 13. Their road is going to be interesting. I think like this week, a set of games, like I don't even know if I want to predict anything because a lot of teams aren't playing big names. I am very excited for the Oklahoma-Michigan game. I think it's going to be good. Maybe that's the only one that I predict, but we'll see. So Florida jumped 2 spots. FSU went from not ranked to ranked at 14, which is a crazy jump. There are some that I saw them jumping into like the top 4. Like some people had them jumping into the top 4 or 5, and I want to be like, well, slow on. This would be different if this Alabama team was an Alabama team from like 8 years ago, where they're ranked in the top 5. Like then I could see that, but I think Alabama has a lot more questions than answers, and they were at 8 as a courtesy for their name and not for what they put on the field right now. And I think Florida State is okay at 14. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. Their quarterback looked like a cheat code, but then again, Alabama's defense looked like they didn't know how to play. When we get to Alabama, we'll talk about Alabama. I wasn't able to watch the Michigan game, but they dropped a spot from 14 to 15. Iowa State is the only 2-0 team right now, and they jumped 6 spots. So then SMU dropped a spot to 17. Both Oklahoma and Texas A&M stayed in the spots that they were already in, 18 and 20. I'm like I said, very interested to see the Oklahoma-Michigan game. I think Michigan wins. And I'm not a Big Ten homer, but I think Michigan, with what they have, and I got to see some of those players in the bowl game against Alabama because I was there. They looked like a really good team, and they got better with the quarterback, the 5-star quarterback that they have. So it'll be interesting. Ole Miss jumped 1 spot from 21 to 20. I'm not the biggest Ole Miss fan, but it's just because Lane Kiffin is just Lane Kiffin. And Alabama, I think, let's look at the top 25, took the biggest tumble of everybody, 13 spots, and definitely rightfully so. They have a lot to prove, and they proved nothing on Saturday. Nothing. I don't blame Ty Simpson. There's not one person to blame, but I do look at Kalen DeBoer, and it's just not Nick Saban. It's like he flatlines and isn't like in people's faces and like rallying his troops and just making everybody want to play harder for him, where Nick Saban did that. I think that's where they're lacking. They're lacking leadership, and it's going to be interesting to go from here. They're not going to fire him as much as Alabama fans are going to like call for his head. Somebody commented that he has a very big payout if he were to be fired, and I don't think Alabama's going to do that. Like, who would take his place? Like, who's better to do that in this moment? I think after the season is done, we'll see the direction Alabama goes in. But I think we're stuck with Kalen DeBoer for a little bit. And that's okay. I think they have Louisiana Monroe this week and then Wisconsin the following week. that showed up on Saturday isn't a national championship worthy team. You're not even worthy of a playoff. I mean, welcome to the Pop-Tart Bowl, which I would go to because it's in Orlando. I'm just saying. So that's, that's my take on it. Tennessee jumped 2 spots. Listen, right now they're rolling. I don't believe that they played anybody. Oh no. Who did they play? They played somebody that kept toe with them until about the 4th quarter, and then Tennessee pulled away. I mean, Tennessee pulled away pretty early, but the team they were playing kind of came back into the picture a little bit. Indiana University dropped 3. They dropped 3. I could almost see Indiana is probably gonna drop out of the top 25 fairly quickly. Texas Tech went from 23 to 24, and Utah was not ranked, and they jumped into the top 25, which is cool. There's some other ones that received votes. BYU received votes, Auburn received votes, Georgia Tech always has a soft spot in my heart. Georgia Tech and Memphis have soft spots in my hearts. I lived in both Atlanta and Memphis, and I love to see them succeed. Louisville, USC got some votes. TCU looked amazing against North Carolina. North Carolina looked like doo-doo. They didn't look great at all. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Bill Belichick goes and deals with these young kids. It's gonna be interesting. Missouri got some votes. South Florida, Tulane, Nebraska, Kansas State. A lot. I mean, I could go through the whole list, but and then 2 teams dropped from the rankings. Kansas State was at 17 and they dropped out, and then Boise State was at 25 and they dropped out because they were blown out by USF, or Southern Florida. So that's kind of the wrap up here. My thoughts is Ohio State is the team to beat. I still like Penn State to win the national championship. They're just a little bit well-rounded. I wasn't able to watch the LSU Clemson game, but it seems like Brian Kelly might be on the right track here, and FSU is probably going to be the interesting team here. Can they continue, or was the Alabama game their national championship? It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think they're going to go undefeated for a little bit because of just their schedule. So there's that. But yeah, if there's anything else, let me know in the comments. But I think that's a good wrap up. My prediction, if you've made it this far, is going to be Michigan over Oklahoma. And let's see, I don't think there's any great games. Illinois and Duke. Illinois probably over Duke. Iowa State's probably gonna be good. Okay, I'll make a separate video of my predictions, but this is just an NCAA Week 1 wrap up. If you guys liked it, hit that thumbs up. Let me know what your hot